I've just been told this is the first time we've been together. Thank you. First time we've been together since 2019, pre-pandemic. So it's great to have everyone back together so we can discuss things and hopefully have a very good day today. My name is Ian Stuart. I'm the CEO for HSBC UK, but I'm also the global head of Ability for HSBC. And I'll explain a little bit more of that in a second. We do take the disability agenda seriously at this bank. And it really stemmed from work. I think we got inspired by what Sainsbury's did at the 2012 Olympics. And that's not yesterday, it's a long time ago, 2012. But since then to now, I think we've really started to ramp up and really try to make a difference. And I'll explain a little bit behind that in a second. For me, it's personal and business. I've got 4 children, 3 of whom carry a disability. I've got a son who's 26, who had meningitis at 9 months, profoundly deaf, and has got epilepsy. And my wife and I have got a matching gene, which is a 1 in 4 million chance. And my 2 daughters, my youngest daughters, have got very bad eyesight as a result. One has only got 30% sight, one has got about 80% sight. So for me, it's personal as well as business. But when my children start to say to me, you've got a position of some influence, you should make a difference, you start to listen. And it was probably about, I think, 4 years ago, where I started to think we could really make a difference here. And I said one thing at a meeting, which is, we need to employ 25 people who are disabled into this organisation to prove we can do it. And you're probably sitting there thinking, well, how do you do these things because you've got all these policies? And we just took a stance to say, we're going to hire 25 people. And I know out of thousands and thousands of people, it doesn't sound very many, but once we got a rhythm and once we got going, then we started to hire people. And I was in India last week, and there I was in Hyderabad, and I was getting my lunch, and this lady served me, who was also profoundly deaf, signing to me. It was a bit of a mixed message, I have to say, but I got there in the end, and I just thought, how good have we become at hiring people around the world? And India's quite a difficult market to hire disabled people because of some of the cultural background. So with a bit of ambition and a bit of resolve, you can get there. Now, what has been really important, and we learned this through the pandemic, I think, is that when you've got a good idea, and I think the pharmaceutical companies did this very well, please share it. So we took the view, probably about 3 years ago, that anything we're doing in HSBC, we will share it with you. We will share it if it's a great idea, we will share lessons learned, where we've not got it quite right, but we will share it. And that means product capability, product design, everything. We did exactly the same for the homeless bank accounts that we're on as well. Because this is not competitive edge, this is for the greater good of people who are less fortunate than most of us in this room. And that is a commitment that I continue to make, and you'll hear much more of that throughout the day. So, today, you're going to hear some incredibly inspirational speakers. I hope by the time you leave, you will have a much better view of TechShare, what we're trying to do in the disabled community, to give customers the product, access to products that they may not get if it was a normal, what people used to call a normal environment. I'm just speaking to somebody who's going to be discussing their mortgage journey with you a little bit later today. And that just gives me great courage, enthusiasm for the future, because the more we can make banking accessible to everyone, the better, because everyone should have accessibility to really good products. That is all I'm going to say. I hope you really enjoy the day. I hope you leave inspired. And with that, to get the day off to a really, really good start, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome the Minister for the Department of Works and Pensions for the Lords, Viscount Younger of Leckie. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ian, very much for that very warm welcome. And good morning, everybody. I am really delighted to address you today, and I give my apologies that my colleague in DWP, Minister Pursglove, cannot be here. However, it is my great pleasure to be here for 2 reasons. Firstly, as the Lords Minister in DWP, I'm responsible for taking through all the government business in the House of Lords for my department. and this includes the important issues relating to disability and inclusion. And secondly, in a previous life, prior to entering the House of Lords in 2010, I had a long city career, including 10 years spent at UBS. So it is particularly good to be back in one of the great powerhouses in financial services and here at HSBC. And I also congratulate AbilityNet on its 7th year coordinating this important conference, Europe's largest accessibility gathering. This is an important meeting point of the leading minds on digital accessibility, gathered with the potential to make incredible changes to the lives of every person on the planet, and none more so than disabled people. We are fortunate that innovators, entrepreneurs, policymakers, and tech professionals are present here today to exchange their experiences, wisdom, and insights to challenge the barriers to digital inclusion faced by disabled people across the UK. And I'm sure we're all cognizant of what those barriers are. Earlier this year, the Cabinet Office Disability Unit partnered with the Global Disability Innovation Hub to conduct an ATEC needs assessment. The findings of that research illuminated where there is plenty more work to be done. We know that the provision of assistive technology is fragmented across the country. Access greatly varies depending on a person's home, level of perceived need, service criteria, and differing funding streams between health, education, and social care. The timing of assistive technology provision is also a barrier. Many people wait months and even years to access essential products. We know too that improvements can be made in terms of the delivery of holistic assistive technology. And with these barriers in mind, I would like to paint you a picture of what this government is currently doing to create a society where technology is inclusive and accessible to all. And it is from this backdrop that we, that is government, business, disabled people-led organisations and charities, can look to the future at where more work clearly needs to be done. The government's Disability Action Plan will include immediate actions that the government can take in 2024 to raise understanding and awareness of assistive technology within government, and to contribute to a longer-term goal of increasing disabled people's knowledge of how to use assistive technology. Now, one of the proposals included the appointment of a senior assistive technology champion, whose role would be to raise awareness of assistive technology across government. We're now working through those responses and carefully considering the next steps. Another way in which this government is working towards creating a society where technology is inclusive and accessible to all is through the UK's 2022 digital strategy. The strategy references key actions and initiatives that support the three main pillars of digital inclusion. And that is, and you will know this probably, access, skills, and trust. By 2025, we will have achieved at least 85% coverage nationwide of top-speed gigabit broadband. We'll also have expanded mobile network coverage to 95% of the UK. Further on down the line, we're aiming for the majority of the population to have access to 5G signal by 2027. We will be better connected to our families, to our friends and communities than ever before, no matter where they live. And to make sure the web is truly for everyone, we must ensure that everyone has the digital skills and confidence to use it. In England, the Department for Education is providing free training for adults with low digital skills via a new Essential Digital Skills qualification. Furthermore, the Online Safety Act, which received royal assent 3 weeks ago, is a timely demonstration of how we're doing just that. This act will make social media companies, for the first time, legally responsible for tackling discriminatory content and give users the tools to reduce exposure to abuse and to harm. All of these measures will better ensure that technology is inclusive and accessible for everyone in the UK. This government recognises that the world of work has transformed over recent years. And as such, the way we support businesses to do the right thing also needs to be agile. Transformations in the world of work are often positive. More people today can benefit from the advantages and opportunities of flexible and home working, which brings new opportunities for disabled people to manage their conditions in a more familiar and accessible environment. Employers better understand the accessibility needs of their staff and are doing more to help disabled people and people with health conditions at work. The improved understanding of mental health conditions and neurodiversity helps employers to identify opportunities to adapt their work environments for people with health conditions. Whilst these positive improvements should be recognised, we also know that employers, especially smaller businesses, that want to bring more disabled people into their workforce do face challenges in terms of time, expertise, and also fragmented advice. Now, to address this, the Department for Work and Pensions, my department, has developed an online service called Support with Employee Health and Disability. This service guides employers through common health and disability scenarios, including exploring flexibilities and adjustments, and also understanding the legal context. The department has partnered with Microsoft to provide technology accessibility awareness training to all work coaches in job centres across the country, enabling them to help more disabled job seekers secure employment and also retain employment. To date, over 25,000 colleagues have done that with overwhelmingly positive feedback, I'm pleased to report. The department will also be working with Microsoft to raise awareness of accessibility functions across the Disability Confidence Network and beyond, as well as making an offer to upskill colleagues in other government departments. But it doesn't stop there. The Disability Unit, based in the Cabinet Office, made a commitment in the National Disability Strategy to develop a new centre for assistive and accessible technology. The aims of the centre will be developed further over the coming months in dialogue with disabled people, also business and the public sector. But it could include the following. So acting as a central source of evidence for local accessible technology services. Secondly, helping to scale new models of delivering technology in a more joined up, cost-effective and user-friendly way. And finally, encouraging the technology sector to work with disabled people in the development of new products. As we continue to advance in this digital age, it is important that we recognise the vital role that technology plays in our society. Technology is no longer just a tool for work, but an integral part of our daily lives, from leisure to personal relationships. However, as we embrace this democratisation of technology, we must ensure that it is inclusive of all members of our society. Government and business must understand what it takes to create accessible experiences in real life, and increasingly importantly, online. Now, to today. You are all forward thinkers, you're leaders and change makers. Discussions will be had over the next 2 days, no doubt, that will result in real and positive changes for disabled people in their everyday lives. This is a privilege as much as it is a necessity. It is our responsibility to champion inclusive policies and initiatives that embrace accessibility in the digital world. To the cutting-edge organisations here in attendance, Channel 4, Xbox, Intuit, Microsoft, BP, Sony, KPMG, and I could go on. I look forward to hearing how you are leading the way in these complex and very critical policy areas. And finally, to all attendees, actually to all of you here, who are also employers, I'm calling you today to ask yourselves what more you can do as part of our effort to improve employment outcomes for disabled people. As a place to begin, I do encourage every employer here to join up to the Disability Confidence Scheme. No employer is too small or too new to start the journey, and even the most experienced employer will still find new techniques and best practices that can help them. So I welcome you to encourage employers in your business networks and supply chains to do just the same. So thank you To all of you virtually, and of course all of you before me here today, for your unwavering dedication to creating a more inclusive society. Your work not only empowers disabled people, it creates a future where every person can thrive and contribute meaningfully to the world around them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Hello, everyone. We haven't rehearsed where we're going to stand. We rehearsed what we're going to say.
I think this works. This works.
This works.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning, everybody. Ian mentioned it. This is the first time we're back in person for 5 years, so this 4 years. So this is really cool. Welcome. I'm Mark from AbilityNet, and I'm hosting on AbilityNet's behalf. But I'm going to introduce Marley, who's actually the host for the most.
Indeed. Hi, guys. Absolute pleasure to have you here. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy days to be here. And of course, all of you online. I'm Marley. I head up digital experience and accessibility. For those of you who can't see me, I'm wearing a banker's uniform, so a stiff white shirt, a slightly wonky tie, a blue suit. I'm an Asian man in my 30s. If you can see me, tell me I look a lot younger. I'd really appreciate that. But Mark, we've got an exciting couple of days.
Yeah. Really looking forward to it.
Should we start with Robin Christopherson?
Let's bring Robin on. Robin.
Can I have a hand up?
I'll come and help you. We're going to have you doing a demo, Robin. Obviously, that's your favourite thing.
Thank you.
Oops, there's a step there, and then you're on a lamp. That's it. So we just need to miss out the middle bit there. You're at the front of the lectern now. Cool.
Okay.
So we'll go the other side.
Morning. Okay, so I can do that. Shall I do my bit then? Yes, please. Okay, great. Thank you so much. This is Hugo, by the way. He's, I know he's always the hit, the brains as well as the looks of the outfit. People are always coming up to us saying you're gorgeous, and they're always talking about the dog. So Marley has asked me to come here to give a personal perspective. Obviously, I'm blind, and as a disabled person, I cannot overemphasize, I cannot overstress the impact, the importance that technology has for disabled people, so that we can do everything that you guys do every single day in work, in education, for leisure, for financial independence. And we're going to briefly look at the HSBC website, how I, as a blind person, would use it on my phone, and afterwards I'll explain why that's particularly important for me and the impacts it's had on me last year and for the next 19 years, and I'll explain why after we've had a look at this quick demo. So here we are on the HSBC UK homepage. Everything speaks nicely to me with my screen reader. If I flick to the right,
HSBC UK homepage, image.
Nicely
A red
labeled
logo
image
next
there.
to black text on open menu.
Flicking
button,
back to this
banner,
open menu
landmark.
button. So if I double tap on it, it will open the mobile menu.
Close menu, banner.
And it's changed to close menu, as you'd understand, as you'd hope it would do. If I flick to the right,
Banking, menu item.
Banking,
Navigate, borrowing, menu item.
borrowing,
Investing, menu item.
etc., all clearly announced as menu items. I'll flick back to close that.
Borrowing, banking, close menu, button,
Close
banner,
menu.
open menu, banner, landmark,
And now I'm just
HSBC
putting my
UK
finger
homepage, image.
on the screen somewhere and start flicking to the right.
Log on, button, end, pocket £100 and more, heading level 1.
So we've got headings. It announced it as a heading level 1. So I know that I'll be able to go down through this page by headings if I wanted to be able to quickly see what the different sections in the page are. A way that I can quickly get everything on the page, that's links, text paragraphs, buttons, etc., all in a great big list, is by doing a 2-finger triple tap.
90
So it said
search
there are
video.
97 items there, and they're all listed, and I could start swiping through them, but I'm actually going to go into this search
Insertion
field and
pointed
start
end.
typing A,
C,
C.
C.
Okay, there are
13
13
items.
items.
Business accounts. This link will open in a new
There
window.
are 13 items, business accounts, and that's a link, and it said it will open in the new window, which is really helpful. If I flick to the right,
V, As part of a regulatory accessibility and disability.
And disability, a really useful section. If I double tap there, then that takes me to that part of the page. And I'll double tap again to activate the link.
Open menu, banner, landmark, related questions.
And it takes me to a page really crammed with accessible information to reassure customers that you're going to have an inclusive experience, both online and in branch.
Okay, so a really, really accessible experience, and that's thanks to the hard work of every HSBC colleague in the room here today and elsewhere to make sure that it's a really inclusive experience, not just for me as a blind person, but if you have a cognitive impairment, a motor impairment, a hearing impairment, etc., all the videos will be captioned. There are so many reasons why HSBC is a really useful contributor to an inclusive financial sector. So last year, we needed to take out a mortgage, and so we did our homework, and HSBC had the best rate. So we weren't an HSBC customer, so we hadn't, first-hand experience of being able to access their services. So looked at the website, wow, this is looking good. I mean, I say wow, but we've been working with HSBC for a while, so it wasn't too much of a surprise. So I was really hopeful. The whole mortgage taking out process was really inclusive. The app is super inclusive as well. So I was able to take advantage of the best offer, which has probably saved me hundreds of pounds a year. Over the next 19 years, we're 1 year in, a 20-year mortgage. So that kind of level of independence, the choice that everybody else has, because they have put the effort in, the passion is here for inclusion to make sure that nobody is left behind. And the disabled sector or community in particular may not have as much disposable income. This might be even more important for them to have the sort of financial choices that everybody else has. I cannot overemphasize how important that is. I want to quickly talk about biometrics as well. So to be able to use your thumb or your face to get into, securely get into an app to be able to do your banking is super important. How many of us have struggled to know the 2nd, 5th, and 7th digit of our password before it times out, or to get a code? And my watch tells me the code is 7,462.17. And I have to type that in single digits before it times out. So to be able to authenticate like that with something that is associated with you is super important. And I bring that up because obviously HSBC do have that on their website and on the app. And they do have it on phone banking as well, which I was really pleased to see, because sometimes that's an easy option, particularly for people that are older bankers who aren't as technically savvy. And in there, it said, do you want to use your voice to authenticate yourself for phone banking? So you won't have to remember a PIN or a code word, etc. It will just learn your voice. And for some people, that can make all the difference as well. So HSBC are really going that extra mile. They really know what they're doing, and we should applaud them for the amount of effort and passion that they put in every single day. Thank you.
I'll take you off.
Thank you so much, Robin. Robin and I have been working together for 7 years. He only became a customer last year. I'm not sure what that says about my sales skills. At HSBC, we want to be the world's most digitally accessible bank, but perhaps more importantly than being the most digitally accessible bank, we're doing this in parts of the world where people aren't talking about digital accessibility. In Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East, we may be the only digitally accessible bank. It means that people like Robin who have certain disabilities may not actually have a choice except for HSBC. It's a responsibility we take very seriously. And as Ian mentioned, we are giving away our knowledge for free. So if you're an organization that isn't sure where to start, we've made a commitment to train 1,000 people outside of HSBC in digital accessibility. I encourage all of you to take it. We're not asking for anything in return. We're not asking for any financial upside. We're not even asking for a LinkedIn post. We've had nearly 100 companies sign up. I'd encourage all of you to do it. We've got some of the best people. We've worked with some of the best minds in the industry to develop this training. We've trained 10,000 of our own people this year. What is ours is yours. Mark, we've got a little bit of a surprise, don't we, next? So, I'd like a volunteer. We've got a esports champion, and we'd like a volunteer to play a game of Street Fighter with our soon-to-be named esports champion. Any volunteers? 1. All right. Let's give Craig a round of applause. Wonderful. So, shall we bring Street Fighter up? Wonderful. Get the sound going as well, guys. Perfect. So those of you who aren't familiar with Street Fighter, they're just picking their players. We're going to have Craig. I think the sound will come up in just a minute. So Craig, which one are you?
I'm the person on the right.
You're the person on the right. Very good.
So I'm the lead.
Very good.
I'm a Mortal Kombat player.
Oh my.
How's it going? Okay.
Oh, Craig, that was embarrassing. Sorry. Thank you, Craig. Let's give Craig a round of applause. Perfect. I've got my arm out. I'm going to take you up on stage. Yeah.
We're bringing your combatants
right
on
here, my
stage
friend.
here.
And I would like to have my bag.
Craig,
Your bag as well.
just wait.
Perfect. Your bag's right here, my friend.
I'm going to bring you
Yeah.
your opponent
Perfect.
on stage so you can meet him.
And we're just walking up on stage. There's going to be a ramp. Perfect. There's just a ramp. So it's a great pleasure. I'd like to introduce Sven. Sven was the gentleman behind the scenes who, shall we say, won quite comfortably. Is that fair, Craig? Sven, do you want to tell us a little bit about you? We've got a huge audience here. We've got about 150 people, and then we've got some people watching online as well. So they also your performance. Sven, do you want to tell us a few words about yourself and introduce yourself to the crowd?
Sure. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Sven, and I am from the Netherlands. And from a young age, I like to play video games. But unfortunately, when I was 6 years old, back in 1992, I was diagnosed with cancer, and yeah, that causes my sight. So from that day, I was completely blind, and playing video games was not possible anymore. But yeah, I was young, and I was like, I'm not gonna give up. So I was trying to find a way to still being able to play video games. And then all of a sudden, I stumbled across a game called Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo, and I was able to play that game because I could hear to the sounds what was going on when characters were kicking, punching, jumping, stuff like that. And I slowly developed a way of playing fighting games, so not only Street Fighter, but also games like Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct, other titles from that time. I became very good in them. Then, years later, because accessibility was, back in the 90s, it was a far from my bed show. I mean, I was already happy that I was able to use my computer at the time in DOS, and that was it. But then years later, when accessibility got more attention and was more developed on the different platforms, I was even able to start streaming on Twitch. I'm an upcoming streamer on Twitch. I'm also being on YouTube. And thanks to screen reader software on the Windows platform, thanks to my iPhone, which has voiceover, and thanks to many other tools that companies provided through the years, I've been able to do again what I love to do, which is playing video games and competing on a high level. I went to tournaments last summer. I've been to Las Vegas to attend EVO. And thanks to my Sony headset, I was able to play there with all the noise of the audience around me, and I was still able to hear what was going on in the game. So I know that Robin before me was already saying that accessibility, that he cannot express that much how important accessibility is. And I can only agree with that by saying that accessibility is important, not only for being able to do your banking stuff, but also to enjoy your life again. And I would, if I have the time, I would like to tell you a small side story about another person that I met. She's a girl, she's born in '89, from Sweden, and she had a big passion. She wanted to be a vet, a person that is taking care of sick animals. I hope that was the right word in English. But she got blind when she was 16, and all of a sudden, yeah, her dream stopped there. And she was like, what am I going to do now? Well, thanks to the great accessibility features on the different platforms, she was able to came in contact with a blind boy, blind man, who had a dream to become a gamer. And they talked with each other on Skype, on MSN, on FaceTime later, and now they have been together for 12 years since last October. So accessibility features has done a great deal in our lives. I'm now talking about my girlfriend and I, and we are so thankful for that. But that is not only the thing I wanted to share with you guys, because she became blind and she lost her dreams about becoming a vet. Nobody wants to bring their goldfish to a blind vet, I guess. I mean, even with your color detector, I mean, you could say, yeah, this is a goldfish, but yeah, nobody wants that, right? But with accessibility tools, such as VoiceOver on the iPhone, screen readers on the Windows platform, Seeing Eye, I think it's from Microsoft as well, Google Glasses, she has been able to realize a new adventure. And I would like to show you something that I brought with me. Of course, she made sure it was packed. So instead of becoming a vet, she decided to start crafting animals. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is a piggy bank, but then not a pig, but a horse. She handcrafted it with help of the accessibility tools that I just said, like color detectors, the mobile phone to do orders on the internet, Seeing Eye to read packages, and many other things. And it would be a great honor for her and for me if this piggy bank can find a new home here at the HSBC building.
Thank you so much, Sven. I'm right here.
Thank
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So much. Sven, I think they like you.
Do you?
Well, Mark, I think we're just about to close our opening session, guys. Sven is here in the lobby. I encourage all of you to go play a game of Street Fighter. We also do have a practice machine set up. I'd suggest you practice, Craig, before playing another game. Sven, it's an absolute pleasure and privilege to have you here. I know you're going to amaze not just our HSBC colleagues, but everybody else who's going to come into the doors over the next 2 days. Mark?
Thank you very much. So we're going to have a short break while we rearrange the stage. We're going to get a panel on stage, take the lectern off. So there'll be a few minutes. We're going to play a short video here for you in the room, and that will be playing online as well. It's 5 minutes long, I think, and then we'll be back with the panel and we'll begin with the next session. So a little bit of housekeeping there. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much,
Sven,
guys.
Thank you so much.
Well, Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's fireside chat at TechShare Pro. I'm Kate Nash, the founding chief executive of PurpleSpace, which is the world's only network of disability employer resource groups and networks around the world. Ian, do you want to just quickly introduce your good self and why this matters to you?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you very much, Kate. So I am Ian Stuart. I'm the CEO of HSBC UK. Obviously based in the UK, so looking after nearly 15 million customers for the bank here and about 26,000 colleagues, about 20,000 in the UK and about 6,000 overseas who help us. So that's my day job. I live with disability. I've got 4 children. I'll just give you a little bit of background. So my son, who's now 26, got meningitis at 9 months. He's profoundly deaf. That's just one of the side issues from the meningitis. He's got a cochlear implant, but very bad speech. And then, would you believe it, my wife and I have got a matching gene, 1 in 4 million chance, and that creates all sorts of conversations as to how you've got a matching gene. But the impact of that is my 2 youngest girls, one's now 22 and one's 20. They've got albinism. You know, we live with disability.
Ian, I've heard you share your story many times, and I think the takeaway for those that listen is how you have skin in the game. This is personal. This matters to you. As you look at the bank's successes and the progress that you've made at HSBC, what are you most proud about? So it could be more generally, but those are the things that really make you feel good about the opportunities that others can capitalise on.
The first thing is we've now opened nearly 5,000 bank accounts for homeless people. And that is really, really important because you're not just giving people a bank account, you're bringing them back into society. The second thing is, and I'm focused right into disability here, and the numbers are small, and I'll explain why in a second, but when you're in an organisation, be it large, be it small, you have a process on how you hire people. And that process can be exceptionally challenging if you're disabled. My target was, I want us to hire 25 disabled people. The reason I wanted a sensible number is to challenge our processes. Because I thought if we had a sample size, then we could learn from the sample size and make it easier to hire disabled people in the future. And now that we've got a sort of, a cheat sheet on how we can speed up the process, we can do it much more and we can take it to other parts of the world as well.
Ian, wonderful stories. I mean, the fact that you've enabled 5,000 homeless people to secure bank accounts, the waterfall effect, the consequences that unfold as a direct result of that are unquantifiable. That's just absolutely wonderful. I suppose lastly, as we start to close, Ian, I could always speak to you all day, but, you've got a job to do, apparently. But my last question is around, I suppose, the challenges that you've seen in terms of bringing other seniors with you, whether that's your board, whether it's your senior leaders, whether it's others, what are those challenges and what do you as the man help to encourage others to do?
Okay, that's actually a very good question because wherever you go, especially today, you will get the cynics, or you're just doing it for effect, or you're just doing it for, it's all about woke and all this stuff. You will get a lot of that. Go and speak to your family, go and speak to people who really know you, and they'll tell you, keep doing something, keep doing it. And my children put me under a lot of pressure on this, because they're great kids. I mean, they are, but they just go, you're in a privileged position, why are you not doing more? Why are you not doing, that's what I get. And it's a good push and a good nudge. But my answer to that is just stick with it because you'll get the outcomes. So I think, if you're getting pushed back or you're getting the cynics, in your own mind you're doing the right thing. So don't get knocked off track, stick with it, and you'll get the outputs. And when you get the outputs, you will feel as good as I feel when I see them. I just think, we're making a difference.
Wonderful stuff. Ian, we come to a close to our interview. Wonderful to see you again. Wonderful to hear your words of encouragement. To our audience today, we hope you have a fantastic couple of days at TechShare Pro, a remarkable conference delivered by an extraordinary team. So we hope that we've brought something of interest and value, and to keep going. This is a long haul with some great people. So enjoy your conference.
Take care. Thank you.